a minute to get.
When I did it, there wasn't any published. They were published anyway.
Yeah. See, this,
You have magical hands, man. Imagine.
It runs that way.
Are you okay coming? You're saying you don't have your wingman?
Oh, then when that's over.
You make it, extend this trip.
Make it. He's gallivanting in Eretz Yisrael with all the Gedolim and
Suppose he's gonna be back tomorrow.
yeah. If they don't find another few places they go.
Third time's
Okay, it's in. You're live.
Okay,
You're live.
Shakar, beautiful.
Okay, go.
Okay, so last week we did Sichos Samach Zayin, which was Gematria Elul. Remember that? So this week is Sichos Samach Ches, was Gematria Samach Ches, important Gematria also. Of course, it's Lulav. Everybody knew that, but we're not talking about Lulav right now. Chaim. Chaim is Gematria 68. Figured last week we had Elul, so we should have this week we have Chaim. Okay, here we go. Okay, Samach Ches. So let's read the whole Sicha slowly. It's a very, on the face value, it's very simple. We're not going to, we'll go where we go. But it's very straightforward, and it's one of those Sichas that we can't just read. It's a Sicha that we have to live. Right? One of my pet peeves is, I don't know if that's the right word, but is when we're learning Torah, Rabbi Nachman, we're learning anything in Avodah, whatever it is in Avodah Hashem, and we learn about it, we're like, wow, it's kavald. Or you hear an inspiring shir, wow, it's kavald. And by the time you leave, you already pretty much forgot what was said. You have no plan in how to take it to reality. Now, you can't try to do every single sikha, every single piece of avodah you do. That would be too much, and it's not possible. But there's certain types of avodas that are so basic, so yesodi, so foundational, that we have to always be trying in whatever way to be involved in this type of avodah. And that's one of tonight's sichos. This is one of Rabbi Nachman's most important. This might be the most important avodah in all Torah's Brasav, and he mentions it many times. Torah sichos samches his mode kama pa'amim. I'm going to translate it one way. The classic way you translate his here is what? Careful. To be careful, to warn, to guard, like Zehirus. So Rabbi Nachman would warn us. This is how I read it, Pashit. His mode kama pa'amim al inyan hasicha beino levenka. That one should speak to HaKadosh Baruch Hu. Speak to him. Shekol adam yedaber v'yasiach beino levenka. That each person should come to a place where he could speak, and siach is also a lashon speak, shmuz, with HaKadosh Baruch Hu, with his kono. V'yashiv atzmo heitiv mahu osa b'olam hazeh, and he should settle himself down, and he should know very well what's he doing in this world. Right? This is part of his conversation with HaKadosh Baruch Hu. V'yirachim al atzmo, and he should have mercy on himself. V'yivros kapov, and he should spread out his hands, of course, in tefillah, v'tachanunim, in supplications and pleading, upiyusim, and appeasements. Levakish, why? Because he wants to request one of the most important requests, and he keeps going on to supplicate before him, before Kadosh Baruch Hu, Yisbarach. She is okay. What's the ultimate request? What is it that a person should have mercy on himself? Right? A person should want so badly. The simplest thing of all is that a person should beg HaKadosh Baruch Hu to allow him to come close to serving him. Right? He's the Melech, and I want to be your servant. I truly want to be your servant. There's many madregas of being an Eved. Right? There's the classic avoda. Hey, buddy, you have to daven now. You have to learn now. Put your finger on the place. Give the tzedakah. Do the mitzvah. Do that. Okay. I'll do it. That's level one. Right? Eved Hashem, and you have to do what he tells you to do. But Rabbi Nachman says, the higher madrega, the more enjoyable level, is where you want. I want to daven. I want to learn. I want to serve the Kodesh Baruch. But let's be honest. We'll see how in a minute. I don't want to add too much now, but let's be honest. I don't always want to. If we're honest, I don't always want to. So that's what we're asking Kodesh Baruch to help us want, to enjoy, to desire to serve, as hard as it may be, to want to serve the close to. The skar of avodos yisbach. V'yishtadel lahamsi lo tainus ubakasha lo zeh. And you need to find different tainas and bakashas and ways to request and ways in. You can't just ask simply, let me get close to you. You need to find other ways in, whether it's through your dibur, through your words, through your emotions, to beg and to plead. Meaning you have to really, really want it to beg that you should want it. Right? When a kid really wants that new toy, or he wants that candy, they find a way to ask 8 million times to get it. And they'll try different ways. Todd, they can have it? No, not right now. Okay, but I'll brush my teeth right afterwards. Not right now. Yeah, but she got it, so can I get it? Yeah, but that was a different story. No. What happens if I pay you for it? Can I give you some money for it? No, I don't want your money. I don't need your money. What about if I promise to clean my room 1,000 times? Right? They will keep going and go. All different ways to get in. And eventually it could be, the parent will be like, either they'll be like, okay, take it already. Or they might say, they might get a geschmack out of it, right? When the kid comes with 100 different, okay, fine. Okay, fine. You want it so bad, you're trying so many different ways, even though my original position is no, but they find a place in your heart. Like, okay, fine. Right? But not from a place of angry demands. That's a different story. When the kid comes and says, give it to me, it's mine, I deserve it, what's wrong with you, who are you, disrespectful, then the parents don't bother. But you can't budge on that. Then you're just feeding disrespect. But if the kid comes in, he's tricky and he's cute and trying his best, with a little respect, you can get in. So you have to try different ways, different times, different bakashas. So by us, Kadosh Baruch Hu Zatati, we also have to try. The Inyan Sicha Zu, this Sicha, Rabbi Nachman says many times, Ye Beloshen Ashkenash Madamno. Speak in your own language. You don't have to be from and speak in Hebrew or speak in Yiddish. Just speak in English. Your mama Loshen. When a kid pleads to the parent, right, they have to speak in that language. This is already mentioned. It's already explained in the Svarim. Rabbi Nachman would speak about this a lot. Now you're all thinking one word. What word are you thinking? Okay, I guess you're not thinking it. Whatever. What word would you say is to sum up what we said so far? Okay, what I think you would have said is hisbodedus. Right? This is the word of Rabbi Nachman. Yet he has not mentioned the word hisbodedus yet. I'm going to point out later. I've said this in the past. I haven't said it in a while. But I'm going to tell you. Chaim's probably heard it before. I'll tell you what the difference between hisbodedus and sicha bein leben kana. I think they're two different things. Now he goes right there and he says, Kimishi yagal atzmo linhog hanhaga zu b'chol yom al kol panim sha'achas. If a person becomes accustomed to this hanhaga of begging, pleading, asking Kadosh Baruch Hu to become close to him every day for at least an hour, okay, it's serious. Bevadai yizke le'eskarev elov yizbarach benes. Says Menachem, I guarantee you will get close. You'll be zocheh to get close to Kadosh Baruch Hu benes. Guarantee. If you put your time in, you will get it. That's stark. It's guaranteed. But then Rabbi Nachman said, look what he says next. And even if you find, you see that you've been doing this on Haggah, you've been trying to get in for days, years. You've been trying for years, says Rabbi Nachman. And you have yet to be zocheh, to merit that closeness, karoi, appropriate to what you thought you should get. Now Rabbi Nachman guaranteed. If you stay in this program, you stay with this Haggah, you'll get it. Now this guy stayed for. I've done this for years. I've been trying for years. But Ahmed says, and I haven't received. I don't feel so close to Kadosh Baruch Hu. I know people like this. Afal Pikein, nevertheless, Yichazak Atzma Yoser v'Yoser. Keep going. Kisof kol sof yoel lo bevadai. Menachem doesn't back down. Because at the end of the day, in more years, it's going to happen. He doesn't back down. Some of us tell me this, said, Rebbe, I've been doing this for years. It hasn't worked. Rabbi Nachman says, keep going. Guaranteed. Says Rabbi Nachman, David HaMelech, Yised mizeh Sefer Tehillim. This is how, through this Haggahs, this is how David HaMelech established Sefer Tehillim. These Sichos they had between him and HaKadosh Baruch Hu. That is Sefer Tehillim. V'omar, and he said Vaiter Bad David HaMelech, She'ikr ha'hezboidedus, the main way that David HaMelech had his boidedus with the Kadosh Baruch Hu, V'omar She'ikr ha'hezboidedus of David HaMelech, Haya al mitasa, was on his bed. The Eish HaShachav, when he would go back to go to sleep, al mitasa, on his bed, the Chisa Azma, he would cover himself with his sheets. He'd be in his boidedus under his sheets. Ozai Medaber Mesiach Kol Libel F'Neshem Yisbarach. Then he was able to speak to Kadosh Baruch Hu, his whole heart he was able to speak to Kadosh Baruch Hu. Shivchi Kamayim Libech Nochach Pnei Hashem. Right? David Melech begs, the Kadosh Baruch Hu, allow my words to just pour out. Shivchi Kamayim Libech. Let my heart pour out like water. Nochach Pnei Hashem. Across. From a Kadosh Baruch Hu. Let me just speak to it. So under his covers, that's where those words came out. Not on some like Hisbodedus mountain anywhere. In his bed, in his room, under his sheets. Who in this room has a bed and has a room? Who has a sheet on their bed, at least a sheet? So you all could be like David Melech. Try it tonight. I would speak every single night on my bed, b'demasi, with tears. Says David Melech. This is how Tehillim was created. We all have to write our own Tehillims. Ashrei, Ashrei, Mishe Yarga Atzma Kaiman Hagazu. Praiseworthy, praiseworthy, Ashrecha, Ashrecha. For those who take upon themselves this Hanaga. Ha'ola al Kol, which is higher than everything. Ha'ola al HaKol. Higher than everything. And then he just says, V'ayim Sefer L'Kutei B'Daf Lamed Beis, and Torah Chavdad, and Chafei, V'Sem Licha L'Mash, and Ember V'Sham B'Binyan Zeh. There's many Torahs Nachman has about this. Kosi v'targil atzmecha l'kaim advarim and emram sham, and become accustomed to doing the thing. Do the sicha, speak, do it. Hashem Yisbarach Yaz, Hashem will help. B'chol pam shetizka v'toach piach. Kadosh Baruch Hu will help open up your mouth. Picha, I'm sorry. V'toach picha will help open up your mouth. Shetucha l'far sichascha l'fan bemes, and Kadosh will help you open up your mouth and speak to Him bemes. I'm just sorry. Okay. Simple, but so needed. And before we talk about anything, the simplicity, the simple avod, like Rabbi Nachman said, Rabbi Nassan says he's made, B'Shem Rabbi Nachman, with all the complexities and all the Torahs of Rabbi Nachman, the ikr is to just do the simple avodas that Rabbi Nachman says to do. That's the ikr of all Torahs Breslev. He says, speak to Kadosh Baruch, just do it. Is there amkus behind it? There's amkus behind everything. There's depth behind everything. There's a Rizal and there's all this. There's everything. But just take the advice of Nachman says, and just do it. Believe in him, and do it. And if you do, you'll benefit. I have. Simple. There's no complexities. Speak to Kadosh Baruch Hu. Now maybe we can go back a little bit and we can speak a little bit more about these inyanim. And I'll even open it up. I'll open up some questions to the Adam over here. His here mode come upon mal inin sicha ben levin kana. So his here, as we said, at least in a basic way, is a lesson of warning and guarding. Zahirus. It's not really the right word here. He warned us. Like warning is like it's gonna be dangerous. So it happens to be in the Gemara a few times. Zahirus, the way it's really translated is zirizus, to be a zarus. Not only that, I've said many times, it's not from me, I heard it from Rav Schwartz, from Bovavi, and others, that whenever you say the Lashon his here, it's a Lashon Zohar, a brilliant light. The person takes upon himself this avoda, bizrizis, mamash, a light will come out. Simple. Now, he says, the Lashon that Rabbi Nachman uses is sicha, speech, beino, between the person, ubein, kono. Now that's an interesting word. What should Rabbi Nachman have used? Kadosh Baruch Hu, Adono, kono. We don't use that word so much. Where do we say that word? Where do we call Kadosh Baruch Hu the kono? Or what do you think kono means?
It's creator.
So one of the understands as creator, like we say, beginning of Shemon Esrei. Not the beginning of Shemon Esrei. That's a different pasuk. It's Shemar Esrei. Elokei Avram Kel Yitzchak Kel Yaakov Hakel Hagadol Hagibur Menorah Kel Elyon Gomel Chasad Tovim V'Koinei Hakol. So there, many translate it as the creator. He's the creator. He's the Koinei Hakol. He's the maker. He's the creator. There's another word it's connected to kono. Koneh, which means to acquire. The owner. So he's the maker and he's the owner. Right? Of everything. So I was just thinking, so why did Rabbi Nachman use this word? Right? Why did he use this word? So I don't know. Just thinking maybe it's a simple thought, maybe, is that when you say the Adon, right? The Adon is the master. So you have a master and you have a slave. The master commands, the slave, the commanded. Right? There's a separation between the command and the commander. Now, as much as the master has control over the Eved, he still didn't create the Eved. Right? He didn't make him. He has control over him. That's fine. And that's how a lot of tefillah works, because tefillah is commanded upon us. Right? You shall serve HaKadosh Baruch Hu with all your heart. Because he's your master. You owe him thanks, you owe him appreciation. You have to ask from him. So you are commanded to do that, and you have to come to him with yourself and serve HaKadosh Baruch Hu. But kono is different. Kono is he's your maker, he's your creator, he's your owner. He's not just a master. Every moment, the owner, now Kadosh Baruch Hu, right? If I'm an owner and I sell something, so then it's sold. I'm not the owner anymore. But by Kadosh Baruch Hu, he's your source. He created you. Now we know there was a chelik elakam imal. So even if we go here, we go there, you go somewhere else, you can never leave your owner. Similar to the concept where Meir says, Ben kach u ben kach nikru ban. Right? If a Jew sins or he's good, it doesn't matter. He's still called a ben. He's still called a son to Kadosh Baruch Hu because it's DNA. You can never leave that. So here we're speaking about this higher, in a certain way, higher level of tefillah, of Sicha ben Levin Kono. It's not bound by a sitter. Now we have to daven with the sitter, and we have to believe in the words of Anshe Knesset Gedol, and they're very, very holy. But it's not as personal as Sicha ben Levin Kono. When this person goes to speak in this way, he's going back to his shoresh, going back to his ultimate roots, beyond the level of a master. He's going back to Daddy, Tati, Avinu Shebashamayim, Avinu Malkeinu, right? Avinu, not just Malkeinu. He's going back to his original maker. It's a different madrega. It has to be even more natural, as we'll see as we go on. Okay, maybe that's why you see Sicha beino levin kono. I don't know. If you have another explanation, I'm happy to hear. Okay. So he says, Shekol Adam Yedaber v'yasiach beino levin kono. Generally, Rabbi Nachman says, Sicha beino levin kono. What's the difference between Yedaber and v'yasiach? He has two words here. Shekol Adam Yedaber, each person needs to speak. V'yasiach, we'll just translate it loosely as speak. Beino levin kono. What's the difference? Why does he use two words here?
Like what you said with your children, attacking it from different ways to try to get what you
I think that's going to be more afterwards when he says tainas and bakashas. What's a dibur? What's a siach?
Siach is more a conversation between both sides.
Okay, and dibur?
Dibur maybe is one-sided.
Okay. I was thinking something along the same lines. Again, it's up for discussion here. Don't be shy.
a monologue and a dialogue.
So dibur is something that it's almost like prepared. There's a structure to it. It's something that you've planned. It's specific. You're coming to Kodesh Baruch with something specific. Whether to ask, to say, to beg. But Sicha is more like shmuzing. Right? It sounds like the pasuk, the source of this lashon. Where's the source of this lashon? Siach?
Siach Sarfei Kodesh.
But not that's true. That's true. That's very important. But before that, the first source of this, of Sicha being speech, conversation with the Kadosh Baruch Hu. Very, very important, because when we discuss this pasuk at the end, Vayetze Yitzchak lasuach pasada. He went to speak with the Kadosh Baruch Hu in the field, which is the source happens to be of what we call mincha. But before mincha was a thing, and a structured tefillah, which was also based on the karbanos, before there was karbanos, the karbanos made it really structured. When the Avos went out to speak to Kodesh Baruch Hu, it was just straight Sicha ben Alein Kohen. Then with the Mishkan and the Mikdash and the karbanos, and then the Mikdash was destroyed, and we needed tefillas, it became very structured, very ordered, because just like the karbanos were very structured, so our tefillah has to be very structured. But the original creation of tefillah, the word davening, right? Where's the word davening come from? At least that's what I heard. Davening is a Yiddish word. Davening. Davun, from the fathers. Avram, Yitzchak, and Yaakov. That's where davening comes from. That's what I heard. They just went out to shoot the breeze with the Kodesh Baruch Hu. They were so connected in Emunah B'tachon to the Kodesh Baruch Hu. They would ask for things. They would thank him. They would just go. Just imagine you go out to the field and you just shmuz with the Kodesh. He's just walking. Wow, Kodesh Baruch Hu, thank you for the sun today. It's Kabbalah day today. Thank you. Can you help me with my son Esav? He's a little bit of a Russia. Can you help me out a little bit? Yaakov is a bit tzaddik. Thank you. Shmuzing. It's a Yitzchak Lasuach Basada. Sichos is more of this. You didn't come prepared necessarily. Exactly what to say. It's softer. It's more Heimish. It's more Heimish. I can't control myself. What do I want to say about this also? Everybody learns now. Those who learn this from Kedoshim, it comes really from Chabad. What do we say by Elul? Hamelech. Basada. The kings of the field. So I was giving some Musar. Musar in Chassidus, right? It's a little bit of a steer, but everybody talks about Hamelech Basada. Wow, Melech Basada. So I said to a chaver, I said, who of you have gone to the field? The Melech Basada. You believe in Melech Basada? Yeah. You believe in Melech Basada? Yeah. So I said, did you go to him? Did you go to the Melech Basada? No. Huh? Why didn't you go to the Melech Basada? Did you go to the field? Did you go speak to the Melech? He's Basada. Yirmy lasuach basada. Hamelech basada. We have to go out to the Sada to speak. Isn't that what it means, Hamelech basada? Isn't that the whole tachlis? King says, I'm Heimish. Come shmooze. Come, don't be scared. But everybody made El like a very scary time. I keep saying in all the chaburas, like, what's scary? It says, Anila Dodi v'Dodi li. When did that become scary? And to my beloved, it's to me. It's a zman of ahava, of reconnecting, of reigniting the flame. Oh, okay, so you have some obstacles, some distance because of some sins. Oh, we'll get to that. This is serious made tshuva. We'll get there. Don't worry about that. Atidag. But Elul, Rosh Hashanah, it's about the Melech. And the Melech says, come shmooze. I'm here. I'm not scared. I'm not going to hurt you. Nah, I don't know. You're so powerful. I don't know. I'm going to get punished. The king says, we'll deal with that later. Right now, come to Basada. I'm sitting in a chair in the Sada. Come, it's beautiful. Sicha. This is what Menachem saying. Shmooze it out. He goes weiter and he says, it's a rachman, v'yirachim al atzma. Have rachmanas on yourself. It's very, very confusing, this world. There's a lot of stuff going on, a lot of complications, a lot of worries, a lot of doubt. People are all over the place. And Gashis and in Ruchnis. So Menachem says, have mercy on yourself. Go to Kodesh Baruch Hu and ask him. The main avoda is to ask to be an Eved. Because once a person truly becomes an Eved Hashem, he feels like an Eved Hashem. Not just he goes to work and he has a family, and he also has some hours during the day where he has to serve Hashem. But true Hiskarvis to Kodesh Baruch Hu is all day long you're connected, and you could be at work. Because the king sent you to work. What, he's only the king in Shul? When did that happen? He's by work. He sends you on shlichus to between a camp and school and camp. He sends you on shlichus to take care of your kids wherever you're going. You're a messenger of the king always. So when a person comes to that place, his skarvis, the closest to Kadosh Baruch Hu, understands what avodas Hashem is, and he enjoys such a thing, then his life becomes clarified. He's not all over the place anymore. Everything comes under one umbrella called avodas Hashem. That's it. Am I going towards the Kodesh Baruch Hu? Am I going away from the Kodesh Baruch Hu? Instead of it being 8 million things, it becomes all under one heading. Everything that you're doing, am I connected to Kodesh Baruch Hu? Am I not? So at work, am I being honest at work? Am I doing what I'm supposed to be doing? That's also Shlichus of HaKadosh Baruch Hu. It's also Avodas Hashem. So every single moment you could be either Eved Hashem or not an Eved Hashem. It makes things a lot easier. It's like not diversifying. You're consolidating all the funds together. You have 8 million, your money all over the place. You're like, you put it into like one big folder. It's life. That's what it is. Because bring me close to your avoda. Damn it, I want to feel it. I want to be connected. I don't want it to just be when I'm in shul and davening with tefillin, so then I'm an Eved, but the rest of the day I'm not. Yeah, I'm wearing my tzitzis, but I'm not connected to it. Okay, so when I'm learning, so then I'm an Eved Hashem. But like when I go to work or then I'm not. That's you're missing the point. And it's not enjoyable. Then it becomes a burden. Then it just becomes he's a master and I'm a slave and I have to listen. He's not my kono, he's not my source. He says, have rahmanas on yourself and beg and plead. Even if you don't fully understand it, or you say you don't want right now, we've discussed many times, you have to want to want. So daven to Kadosh Baruch Hu to want. If you believe in Rabbi Nachman, if you believe in tzaddikim, so even if I don't necessarily feel it, do what they say. It's not easy, because if it's not coming from you, then it's really going to die out after some time. Right? Because we are motivated by what we want. And if it's only because the Rebbe told me to want it, or my parents told me to want it, you want to learn Gemara, right? You all love Gemara, right? Actually, no, I don't. How long is it going to last? As long as you're on the confines, if you're in the school, so then you'll learn. The second you're out of school, you're not learning it anymore. This is a big problem with the whole educational system. There are many, many good teachers, but the system is not trying to create a love for these things. It's just creating a gevura and a control. You have to do this. But then it doesn't last very long because it's not enjoyable. It's being forced, right? We want to create an ahava for it. Yes, sometimes you have to do this thing because you can't come to love it unless you're doing it. But the ultimate goal of the teachers, the Rebbeim, the system has to be to bring them to an ahava. An ahava, gematria ahava is what? Echad, a oneness with it. They want to see that the Torah is the source of your soul. But when we just shove it down their throats, or tefillah, or whatever it is, it's just not going to work. You guys want to try running a team union for a Shabbos, and you'll see what goes on. Great boys. Nobody wants to daven. Nobody wants to daven. Maybe we had 1 million. Had 50, 60 boys. Maybe. And why would they? Why would they want to daven? What did you do to make them want to daven? Put your finger on the place. Don't you know you're talking to Hashem? What's every kid thinking? Who is this Hashem they're talking? Who is he? That they don't explain. You have to just do what the king tells you to do. Okay, very good. So as long as they're going to get graded for it and they can get in trouble for it, so they'll do it. But when it's not graded, and it's on a Shabbos and there's no parents there, they're not doing it. Again, why should they do it? What did you convince them? How did you explain to them that this is something to do? So Rabbi Nachman says, he speaks to us a lot about this. That he says, if a person would become accustomed to this avoda, 5 minutes every day, it's good around tefillah time. Come 5 minutes early davening, or stay an extra 5 minutes if you're not running for a train. Just extra 5 minutes after davening, after your structured tefillahs, and add a little bit. Yes, people add during Shema Kaleinu, people add during Elokai Netzor, but it's still in the confines of that structure. And it's always about asking requests and requests and requests and requests and requests and requests and more money and more money and more. He heard already. He's like, Yid, can you ask me something else, please? Can you just ask me to be close to me? Can I have more money? Okay, I got it already. If a person becomes accustomed to this, if he does it every day he says an hour. Vadai makes a guarantee he will get close to Kadosh Baruch Hu. Now, our mission in life is ultimately Dveikus. The ultimate mission is Dveikus. All the mitzvahs, like the Zohar Kadosh tells us, and the Smarim bring down, that the mitzvahs is 613, says the Zohar 613, eaten. Ein Yud Tes Yud Nun. Itin means eitzes. Advice, piece of advice. Well, advice is something that you're given to then do something with. Right? Advice isn't not an ends, it's a means to some kind of ends. Right? So the Zohar Kodesh is telling us that 613 mitzvahs are 613 eaten. A piece of advice. Yeah, what's the advice? Again, it's not an ends, it's a means. A means to what? Does anyone know the end of the Zohar? It's advice to Ubo Sidlak. So Davik to Kadosh Baruch Hu. All 613 mitzvahs are a piece of advice how to Dveikus Radamis. Right? 613 mitzvahs. Because every single mitzvah is commanded by Kadosh Baruch Hu. So every single time you do the mitzvah, on the most basic level, you're connecting to Him. The more you want to connect, the more you want to fulfill the command, the more you understand the pnimis of it, what it's doing for you, what it is, you're going to connect more and more dveikus. That's the ultimate goal. So we daven 3 times a day, and we learn as much as we can, and we have Shabbos, and we have Yom Tov, and we fast on we fast on Yom Kippur, and we have Sukkah, and we have all these stuff. With all of the mitzvahs, the underlying mission is dveikus to Kadosh Baruch Hu. Comes to Rei Nachman and says, and guarantees an attainment of the ultimate dveikus. Right? Hiskarvus lavodaso? Would you call it like a little bit of a dveikus? He guarantees. What do you have to do? So we understand. We need to do 613 mitzvahs. You have to learn hard and daven. Sounds like ESPN. Right? That's the sound? I remember that from years ago. It is, right?
Yeah.
Wow, you actually remember things. That's like, I haven't seen that in a long time. Anyway. Okay, yeah, so caught me off thinking about like Michael Jordan now. I'm joking. So we have generally to get to Dveikus 613 ways, 613 mitzvahs. You have to really work hard to get to it. No, you don't need all that stuff. I mean, you do, and you should do the mitzvahs. I have a better way, easier way. Just go ask a Kadosh Baruch Hu for it. Go speak to him. Go ask him for Dveikus. Ask him for Hiskarvus. But not just once. Just keep asking every single day, and you'll get it. So all 613 mitzvahs, the tachas is the Gedubo Sidbuk. It's a lot. It's, we don't have that many mitzvahs nowadays because a lot of them we don't have the Beis Hamikdash, and it's so it. But we think that we have to learn all of Shas and we have to daven 3 times a day for years, and we have to do it all because that's the way to get the Dveikus. If we're in that world of Avodas Hashem where Dveikus is the pinnacle, not everybody even has that, but if they do, we do everything to get to Dveikus. Rahman says, just ask Kadosh Baruch Hu for it. Simple. Every day, just ask him for it. Like the little kid who just wants that candy. Just keep asking, keep asking, keep asking. Eventually, your parents are going to give it to you. And for those who are parents, no, eventually do give it. There's only so long we can hold out. Because when a kid shows enough rutzin, eventually you break down. The Guru says, okay, if they're asking for a Lamborghini, you're not going to break down. That's just Pasha Narishke. But if they're asking for something that's within the realm of normalcy, just you don't want to give it, and often parents don't have good reasons. I just don't want to. Tati, why not? I don't want to. Tati, why not? I'm the father. You can't ask me those questions anymore. And in the back of the father said, it's like, I don't have a good reason. There is no reason. There's no good reason sometimes.
So.
Just don't want to do this because I said so. Why'd you say so? So eventually, because there's no stark reason, the father will eventually give in. Because the kid's rutzin overpowers the father's rutzin, because the kid's rutzin coming, he really mamish wants it. The father's rutzin is not really backed by anything. So eventually he's going to break down after I said so. It doesn't work anymore. Kadosh Baruch Hu is waiting. Kadosh Baruch Hu's rutzin is that our rutzin is to ask him for Hiskarvus. Not only does he doesn't even say no. He wants to say yes. But you have to ask a certain amount of times. You have to show that you really want it. You can't just give it to everybody. You have to earn it. How do you earn it? By asking for it again and again and again. And then you'll get it. So we can be zochah to the biggest yisodos, Amunah B'tochen Ahava Dveikis, by just constantly asking Kadosh Baruch Hu for it. Now, this guarantee sounds that's pretty. It's a serious guarantee that Rabbi Nachman says. How does he know it's true? If you just ask for it every day, Kodesh Baruch Hu doesn't give it to you. So really, if you think about it, this guarantee is not sourced by Rabbi Nachman. There's an earlier source of this guarantee. It's going to be a tough one. Someone makes this guarantee already. We say it every single day, 3 times a day. Everyone's writing on your boards? Every day we say 3 times a day.
Shema Yisrael.
Very nice. No. We do say that. Gotta pay attention to davening. And Ashrei, what does David Melech say? Now we've really narrowed it down over here. Now we're down to 22 letters. Korav Hashem l'chol korav. Korav Hashem l'chol korav. Hashem is close to anybody who calls upon him. Korav Hashem l'chol korav. But there's one condition. And this is what separates the boys from the men. Because David Melech doesn't end there. Korav Hashem l'chol korav l'chol asher yikru'u be'emes. But you have to call to a Kodesh Baruch Hu be'emes. It's not like a Kodesh Baruch Hu, can I have the Vegas? And he says, yeah, sure. That's not calling for be'emes. That's calling for like a handout. Hashem is close to anybody who calls upon him. Guaranteed. That's what Rabbi Nachman saying. Just, you have to ask be'emes. Anybody who does al kopanim sha'achas bevada yizke l'skarav elav yizbarach be'emes. Be'emes. Emes is not so pashut. Emes is not so pashut. Because emes, to call upon Kodesh Baruch Hu from emes, what does that mean? What do you think it means? Let's just speak about Tefillah for a second. It's very important. Very, 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 very important, Agav, to outside of davening time to learn the tefillahs. Not when you're davening. Because when you're davening, you have to just daven. But if you never learn the tefillahs, then what exactly are you davening when you get to davening? I mean, you're saying the words. Everyone knows that you could daven balpeh the whole davening. But it's probably not that deep if you never really worked on it, right? You can't really work on it during davening because you're davening when you're davening. Learning and davening are 2 different things. Yes or no? Learning and davening is 2 different things. So when you're davening, you have to daven. When you're learning, you have to learn. You can't learn while you daven while you learn. So what does it mean? What does it mean to call to him be'emes? What does it mean? Pashup Shah. Honestly. Now what does that really mean? What does that mean?
Genuinely.
What does that mean? What does that mean? I know the word translation, and I know you know. That's what I'm asking. But what does it mean?
Don't do it for ulterior motives. Just do it because you really want to be close to Hashem.
No ulterior motives, just because you really want just pure escarvis, just to be close to him.
In your heart of hearts is what you actually want.
Your heart of hearts. So what's the heart and what's the heart of hearts?
It's really, yeah. It's like it's your genuine desire.
I know these words. We have to dig deeper. Because have any of us tried that? Called him be'emes? What do we need? What do we need to do to get to that place of the heart of hearts, of the genuine desire? How do we get in there? This is it. This is the key to life. Samches, remember, it's Chaim, life. This is the key to life. To Chaim. There's also Chaim. David, Chaim. Remember, so the whole Torah is right here. His scarvis, Tvekis, speak to him, but you have to speak to him be'emes. It has to be real. It has to be every day. It has to be strong. So how do we do that? Why aren't we doing that? I'm open for suggestions here. It's like a think tank, you know?
From your soul.
From your soul.
Neshama.
Shama. How do you do that? I don't know that either. All right.
From the depths of
All right, we're done for tonight. The depths of your soul.
You know what it's not. You know what it's not.
We know what it's not.
Right.
Which is?
We know that it's not coming from a good place, from a power. I'm saying, like, you know what it's not. It's if it's an ulterior motive, if it's anything else, right? You know it's not that.
Okay, so we need the Asay Tov. So I think this might be one of the biggest problems, obstacles that we have with dveikis that we have with Sicha ben Kono, what people would call hisbodedus, separating it, is that we're lacking emes. Emes is to be authentic. Emes is to be true to oneself. Not a person who speaks words that are true, not like the debate, right? That's why we're not watching the debate. But to be a person who's true to himself, who knows himself. Now that's not pashut. That's not a simple thing. You're not born with that. That has to be worked on. You have to sit with yourself and think about yourself in a deep way and challenge yourself and ask, who am I? What am I? The yashiv atzmo hetiv, and you have to sit by oneself. What am I doing in this world? Who am I? Who am I really? This is an avoda that it can't really be taught. You have to just do it, because there's so many layers within ourselves. There's so many wants. There's so many desires. Is that who I am? My wants and my desires? Not even close. You can't even start knowing who you are until you remove all the wants and the desires. But the problem is that this world has become such a world of just running after whatever the wants and desires are, even if it's good things. It's covered over who we really are. Because we have levushim, garments upon garments upon garments upon garments. The emes is the deepest layer. It's the true self. But this has become lost. And we can't discuss everything right now. But the way to get to a l'chol sheikru be'emes, to call to him be'emes, means you're calling to him from your authentic self, which is the heart of hearts, which is the genuine desire. But you have to go in first to then ask out. If you're just a person who's where he is, and you're told you should really ask the Kodesh Baruch Hu for Eskarvis. Okay, so I'll ask the Kodesh Baruch Hu for Eskarvis. Where's that coming from? It's coming because I heard it's a good thing to do that, and it's like in here, and then it's like out here. It's very superficial. Do I really want Eskarvis? He said, what is Eskarvis? Who am I? What? It's not rocket science, but it's meditative science. You have to shut down all the sounds. Go into a quiet place. Right? And when things are quiet, you're more yourself than when things are loud. When things are loud and people are around, you might not be yourself. You might be putting on a show. Right? You might be showing off. You might be acting in a certain way, speaking in a certain way, because that's what you think others would want you to say, or that's what they expect, or I want to show a good face. I'll fake it. But it's not genuine. It's not really who I am. I would venture to say that most people are not being themselves when they're out in public. They're not being themselves. Because unless you've become yourself, you know who you are, then you could take that out. But if you've never worked on that, lav dafka. This is one of the most important aspects of life itself. We're all over the place, and we're always trying to impress other people. That's one of the signs you know that you're not authentic, is you're always trying to impress others. A person who's authentic doesn't impress others. He is who he is. If that person wants to be impressed, great. If not, not. I'm going to be me. I'm not scared of my opinions. Right? I'm not scared to be me. This is one of the. I speak to people. I said we're going to start a college. I'm starting a new college. It's called JBU. Just be you. That's the college name. The whole point of the college is to just get to a person to be himself. Not be what your parents think you should be. Not be what the Rebbe says you should be. Just be you. Don't be what you think a Kadosh Baruch Hu wants you to be, because you're probably wrong. So how do you know what a Kadosh Baruch Hu wants of you? Your context is because you heard it from maybe your Rebbeim and your parents, and a lot of it's true, but it's still not you. How did Avram Avinu find the Kadosh Baruch Hu? His father told him about a Kadosh Baruch Hu. See, Avram Avinu was the one and only time in history. I mean, that's clear that he had nobody else to help him. He had to find the Kadosh Baruch Hu on his own. He had to find himself in the Kadosh Baruch Hu. After that, Yitzchak came into a world that already has HaKadosh Baruch Hu, because Avram Avinu taught him. Now, Yitzchak found his own path. But there's, right? So Yitzchak and then Yaakov came after Avram and Yitzchak. And then Yosef came after Avram and Yitzchak and Yaakov. And we're coming after. So in a certain way, we're better off than them. Because we have so much Amun, so much HaKadosh Baruch Hu, so much Torah for many, many years. But on the other hand, we're on a much lower level because it's not really me. It's just what I've so much. It's just I've heard all the information. Right? I'm a doctor. You know, I'm a doctor because I go on Google every single time I have an ailment and I Google it and they tell me what the problem is. And I'm a doctor because I know I have all this information. But I didn't do any of the work. I didn't study. I didn't kill myself, really trying to figure things out. Go to the laboratories. Go to do the round. No, I Googled it. I'm a Google doctor. I stayed at a hotel inn. What's it called? Holiday Inn. I stayed at a Holiday Inn. Remember those commercials from way back? So if one is not true to himself, then he's not truly himself. And then when you speak, you're not speaking from yourself. You're not speaking from a place that's true. And therefore, Kadosh Baruch Hu is not going to give you that. Who's a Kadosh Baruch Hu want to give his scarves to? To you. But you're not asking from you. You're asking because someone told you to ask. Being true to oneself is not hard. It just takes simplicity. Tamimis and pshitas. Calm, soft, just sitting by oneself. That's really what it takes. It could take a few times because we're not used to that. So every time we get into that place, we're like, what do I do here? What do I do here? You don't have to do anything. Just become accustomed to sitting by yourself. Go sit with Kadosh Baruch Hu's on a bench in the park, Malach Basada. Just go sit on the bench. You don't have to talk. You don't have to say anything. True hisboidedus. What is it? Hisboidedus by David Melech? Being by himself under his covers. In that matziv, then he spoke to Kadosh Baruch Hu. But hisboidedus means be by yourself. Doesn't mean talk. Where the word hisboidedus means talk. Bodod yeshev chotzamachna. That's lashon hisboidedus in the Torah, right? That the Matzorah goes out of the camp to be by himself. Hisboidedus, bodod yeshev. It's like he didn't speak to anybody there. Other he wasn't supposed to speak to anybody. That's his problem. He's always trying to impress people. So he spoke Lashon Hara, and he's joking around, and he's a big Balgaiva. So Kadosh supposed to get out of the camp and stop talking to everybody. Go think. Go think on your own. That's his Buddha says. Go think on your own. Be alone from everything. Be by yourself. Be yourself. JBU, just be you. From that place, you could find the Kadosh Baruch Hu. From that place, you could speak to Kadosh Baruch Hu in a very simple way. But until you're you, everything is you're just asking for more things from a Kadosh Baruch Hu. It's not real. It's not authentic. It's fake. It's grub. It's just wants and desires and it. You know what I'm saying? So, Korab Hashem l'chol korab l'chol asher yikru be'emes. It's simple to be be'emes. Then a Kadosh Baruch Hu is close to you. Then a Kadosh Baruch Hu says, "Oh, this is the one I really want." To really find him, you have to find yourself, because where a Kadosh Baruch Hu is inside of you is where you are in yourself. That's where you meet in your neshama and who you are. That's where he is. He's hiding inside of you. So many people don't ever find the Kadosh Baruch Hu. They know about him, they hear about him, they daven to him, they do avodah to him, but there's me and then there's him. There's me and there's my Adon, my master. And that's good. You're a good Jew. Fine. But the Jew who wants to really connect, he has to find his kono. He has to find his owner, his maker. And that's only when you find it within yourself. When you go to the source of your own existence. And Menachem says, V'af, now, that's hard. Right? It's hard and simple at the same time. The simple things in life are also very difficult. So that type of emes, again, Karav Hashem l'chol karav, the guarantee of Kadosh Baruch Hu close to you, but you have to call to him to emes. Okay, so we said the first level of emes, the main way, is that you have to be emestic with yourself, authentic. But until we get there, which is sometimes difficult, and there's another way. And be'emes means when something is true, if something is really, really true, then you won't stop. Emes, Aleph, Mem, Tuf. From Aleph to Tuf, you stop in the middle letter is Mem, through and through. You will not stop. That a person who finds that this, he says he knows this is true, and Rabbi Nachman says, every single day. Even if you haven't found yourself, JBU, you haven't really worked on Avodah yet, but if you do what Rabbi Nachman says, and every single day you work on it, you're eventually going to get it. Now, Rabbi Nachman does say you have to work on it for an hour a day. Right? If you go to Rabbi Nachman and say, Rabbi Nachman, I worked on it for 5 years, I haven't had this garbus, then he might answer you, well, did you work on it for an hour a day? Guys will be like, well, I did 10 minutes. Rabbi says, I told you an hour. Now, again, emes is not easy. But for people who it's hard for them to find themselves, this is also an avodah to do it. But who has even has 5 minutes nowadays? Kaveh El Hashem, Chazak v'ametzu Kaveh Hashem. We said at the end of the David. Kaveh El Hashem, hope to Kadosh Baruch Hu. It's not so easy. Chazak v'ametzu Kaveh Hashem. It's a hard avodah. It's the simplest. It's the most powerful. But it's hard. And it's only hard because we just don't give it the right time. Just don't give it the right time and the right amount of quiet, and that's one of the biggest problems. The meaning of tshuva is to return. Tshuva means that classically tshuva is return to Kadosh Baruch Hu. To return to Kadosh Baruch Hu, to also return to ourselves. To return to ourselves, simple, quiet. During ill, take some time by yourself. Take these phones, just throw them out the window. If it's once a week, make it once a week. If it's on Shabbos, do it on Shabbos. Whatever it is, give yourself that opportunity. Have rachmanas on yourself, like you said. Have rachmanas on yourself. That you're not being yourself because there's so much noise. Throw it away. Have you ever just sat and just breathed quiet, nothing on, nothing? If you've ever done it, it's just an amazing feeling. If you're not wanting to go somewhere. If you're sitting by yourself and you're just thinking about everything you have to do, you're not sitting by yourself. You're sitting with a bag of ritzonos. But if you could ever get into a place where you have nothing to do right now, and you're looking for something to do, I'm bored, just sit and be still. That alone, without getting to any great place, that already is coming back to yourself. That's a tshuva to yourself, because you're not going anywhere. You're just with yourself. And if you taste a little bit of what that could be, you might come back for seconds and thirds. And then if you keep going back, you might find the Kadosh Baruch Hu in that place. You might find. But you have to put the time in. So Hamelech B'Sadeh right now, behind Mishra the King. Speak to Kadosh Baruch Hu in your own language, whatever you want to say. The ultimate is Kadosh Baruch Hu, please let me get close to you. I'm not sure if I even want it, but help me want it. And if you do want it, I've been trying for years. I've been learning. I've been davening. I'm not feeling like Rabbi Nachman's saying. Help me do it in the right way. Help me just sit by myself. Help me just get close to you. And mamish want. And you try it again. And you try it again. Like Rabbi Nachman, I'm standing behind Rabbi Nachman's guarantee. If you do it, and it could take a year. Could take a year. But if a person really wants, we'll help him out. Person wants it, he will get it. All of life can be had in 5 minutes a day, 10 minutes a day. Rabbi Nachman says an hour, but it can be done without it also. So that could be a Kabbalah a person takes upon himself this year, 5 minutes. Pick a time before davening, after davening. Make it a thing, and we'll be mechazik each other.
I have a question. Would it be important to recognize that we need to make a creed?
Is it mine?
I'm sorry, I tell you, but no, I didn't realize what time it was, by the way. I was looking at it the whole time.
Do you have Myra?
Do they have a Mar? No.
No.
Oh, well, we're close. Do you have Dami?